D-O double G, what up? Love, man. Hey, I gotta ask, James Hard, Lil Baby, detained, Lil Baby arrested in Paris on marijuana charges. Do you think they knew the laws out there, sir?
I don't know. I don't even know the laws out here.
Okay. Hey, Snoop, you more excited for Big Three basketball or to see the this Suns Bucks series?
Both. I'm down with the Big Three. That's IQ shit, and I want to see some, somebody win a championship other than the Lakers, because we just keep winning them and winning them. So
Nice. You think the Suns gonna sweep?
I don't know about sweeping, but I think they may win it. I'm happy for Chris Paul and Booker.
Yeah, it's about
and Monty Williams too. You know what I'm saying?
all of them. You loving it, huh?
Every minute of it.
Giannis looked a little upset tonight with his team. You know, you think he's venting? How do you think he's dealing with what he's seeing out there?
He's gonna be all right, man. He'll figure it out. He's a professional.
I feel you. Hey, thank you for your time.
Peace.
Appreciate you.
When Snoop was asked about the Clippers, the JV team to most LA natives back in January on Stephen A's World, he had this to say.
Laker to a Clipper, man, I can't be faded. Come on, man. We talking about the Clippers, the team that has 0 banners, that are the opening night champions for 14 years straight, have no banners, no nothing. Kawhi is a great player. Paul George is a great player. They got great coaches and the homies on their team. They do a great job, but they're not the Lakers, man. It's just something about that purple and gold, man. And it's like they need to get a whole new stadium and get a whole new stigma, because they're never going to win playing in our living room.
Gotta be Gucci's with the bees. But last night, after his Lakers got embarrassed in Phoenix, he posted this gem on IG and had me dying. Look at the last line. Never thought I'd say it, but we're sorry. The Clippers better than us. Frank Vogel can't coach. And why the F Montrezl Harrell isn't getting no run. This is heartbreaking. AD hurt more than Mary J. Blige records. We soft. Q, not gonna cry. Clippers Mavs all tied up at Game 2, a pivotal Game 5 tonight at Staples Center. Kawhi is 3rd in points per game this postseason, averaging 33. Keep in mind, Kawhi is from California. Stephen A. Does Kawhi have the best chance to become the king of LA?
The best chance to become the king of LA? No. They haven't won anything yet. Last time I checked, LeBron has the ring. He's the reigning defending NBA champion. And even if he loses Thursday night or Saturday, it does not mean that the Clippers win. I will say this, however. Snoop Dogg, by the way, for both of y'all to know, Snoop Dogg couldn't make it on the show this morning because he's filming a movie in Atlanta, Georgia, as we speak. So he couldn't get loose to come on First Take this morning. That's why he's not here. But he did send me a text that wanted to elaborate further on the quote that he put on Instagram. Quote, Lakers, too many non-shooters, soft-ass guards in our rotation, can't guard, can't shoot. We doomed. Clippers may come out of the West, and I wouldn't even be mad at this point. If Kawhi and PG-13 faced Brooklyn for it all, popcorn, get it ready.
Yep.
That's what he said. So I understand where he's coming from. I understand how we looking at the Clippers, but I would remind y'all that Damian Lillard dude that we just finished talking about, they still alive. Jokic, who you were talking about earlier, they still alive. And by the way, the Utah Jazz, even though Memphis is still alive, we expect Utah to win that series with a healthy Donovan Mitchell. They the favorites. So let's not forget all of those things as we sit here and talk about Kawhi as the king of LA. Just because the Lakers are out don't make you the king. You gotta win.
The answer is, does Kawhi have the best chance to replace LeBron as the king of LA? Is yes. Yes, he does. He has the best chance. I may have been a year early on my LeBron decline prediction and Kawhi taking over prediction. And this is not like, will the Clippers flip LA? That'll never happen. That could happen with the Knicks and the Nets. You know why? The Knicks don't have the same equity in this town. They haven't won in so long. Lakers got crazy equity in LA. They've given that city more glory and championships than anybody. That town's never going to be a Clippers town over a Lakers town. But, Stephen A., we know this is true. And Molly, you've lived in LA. I've lived in LA. And Stephen A., you're out there all the time. Lakers fans and, say, Kobe fans are not always the same thing. Right? There's a big overlap, but there are people who are just Kobe fans.
Yeah.
There are Lakers fans who, if the Lakers are sorry and the Clippers are a powerhouse, will root for Kawhi and Paul George, especially since they're from there. So will they flip the town the way the Nets are about to flip New York? Because the Knicks have been sorry for so long. That's never going to happen in LA. Clippers will never flip it. But dudes like Kawhi and Paul George, yes, they can run the town, even if they're not on the Lakers, because they'll be hometown heroes who are balling in the absence of the Lakers' presence. So, yeah, Kawhi could become king of LA. That could happen.
I got you. I just think to be the king, you got to have a crown. You got to have a crown.
Yeah, you're going to have to win.
You can't be the king just because LeBron loses. You got to
Right.
win.
You're going to have to win.
Let me just say one thing, and I haven't lived in LA in a while, but I lived there about 4 years. And Stephen A., get in on this. When Max says that he knows Lakers fans that if the Lakers are out would root for the Clippers, I do not know any. Any Laker fan I know is so die-hard for the purple.
No, I didn't say Clippers. Kawhi and Paul George.
I don't know that.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
you may have
Lakers
corrected
fans
yourself,
I know.
but you originally said the Clippers.
Yeah, I've never heard of a Lakers fan that would also root for Kawhi and Paul George or the Clippers. Ever.
What would Snoop say if they play Brooklyn? Get the popcorn. Who do you think Snoop be pulling for?
No, he didn't say he'd root for the Clippers. He just said that they would be in the position, and he can't be mad because he's so disgusted at the Lakers. I didn't
Snoop's
read
gotta
you
come on
anything
and
that said
answer that.
head root for the Clippers.
Yeah.
Snoop's got to come on and answer that. He didn't say
All
he
right,
wouldn't
well
either.
then create the question. Don't act like he said it when he did it.
He called the Lakers soft.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way, but I would hate to, and Snoop is my dude, but I would hate to call professional athletes soft. But every time you look up, falling on the ground, something wrong with you, get a scratch, you got to go in the locker room, come back out. I mean, to the point where even the Diesel and Charles Barkley was making fun on TNT about the Lakers and Anthony Davis, about Advil and Icy Hot and street clothes, nicknames, things of that nature. It's just like, God, but this is, I feel bad for AD because the moment that you think he's gotten over that, then all of a sudden this happens.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think he got over anything. I think he was just playing through injury. He can still be dominant with injury.
Well, play through injury again then.
I understand that. We're on the same page. I did have a question I want to get both of your unfiltered opinions about because I think it's just really interesting. We haven't really discussed
That's the name of a show, Unfiltered?
I don't know. There's always some kind of un-something. I don't know. A lot of un-something shows. How'd you guys feel about LeBron walking out with 5 minutes left to go in the game?
I mean, I don't.
They went through the tunnel. And nothing big was made of it, so I don't know if he returned. Because he did. You did see him at the end of the game. You didn't see him at the end of the game with the group when the final buzzer was there.
I gotta be honest. I didn't have the game on at the end. I was too busy watching
Once that
Portland and Denver play. But I think that would be interesting, even to have people call in and tell us what they think.
I don't know if he came back. By the end, it was over with for me. I wasn't sitting there watching.
So we see him right now.
Yeah, I think.
But what I would say is
that's fourth quarter, 5 minutes.
41
up 30. No, he didn't come back.
If he did come back, cool. Maybe some reason he went to the locker room. But if he didn't come back, the reason I don't like it is because what we're doing right now, we're having a conversation about it. So it looks bad, right? It just looks like you are so frustrated with being around your teammates, being in a position to get worked by 30 that you don't want to be a part of what's going on, and you trying to separate yourself from a disaster.
They got worked by 30.
And I don't like that for him.
Right.
Like, I just, you could have sat on the end of the bench and put your towel over your face maybe and then decided. Now, if he had to go in there based on them team doctors or something telling him to go and let's go in now, then that's a different story. But if he just went in on his own and he just decided to say, man, I ain't got time for this, that's something different.
Yeah, and if I knew if he did come back or not, because I do think I saw him on the court end of game with his teammates, so he might have come back. But it's just the look is what it is. But Jay, you said he had to be Space Jam 3, that he had to be everything. He had to be Superman in this game.
3,
but his teammates, look, Dennis Schroeder going 0 for the game, that's a major problem. KCP comes back from injury and he just is not effective. And
because of me,
I mean, you just could see that they just didn't have whatever they needed. And that includes the effort. I mean, Snoop said heart. I mean, you're missing a lot of that stuff in a game that was a pivotal game.
But see, what I said yesterday, though.
Ride on them, though. That's how we are.
You guys,
The star player always gets. Yeah, he always gets.
What I was saying though is that look, when LeBron has 25 and 7 or 8, like for a normal player, that's a great game. It's a great game, 25 and 7, right? But we're watching things like what Dame did, or we're watching things like what Jason Tatum has done, right? Like you're looking for those monumental games. And my only thing is,
It
like
didn't
for
look
LeBron,
like he
25
emptied-
and 7 is those are pedestrian
Yeah.
numbers. We know LeBron could do that in his sleep.
Right.
So like, you're wondering, like, does LeBron, like, what's the next gear for LeBron? Like, that's
And
a
can he
legit
get there?
question at 36.
And can he get there?
I think he can, but
I think
we
he
didn't see
can.
it.
But I also believe that, and it's just something that I believe as an athlete that had played at a high level professionally, that when you feel like you got to carry night in and night in and night in over and over and over again, you get somewhat dejected at some point, right? At some point, it's like, damn, I got to do this again? And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, man, I made the pass. The dude didn't cut. He stood there. So now all of a sudden, nothing is going right. Nothing is going right at all. I'm trying to hit shots. And early in the game, he knocked down a 30-something foot straight from the middle, bottom of the net. As soon as he came down the court, they passed with the ball again. He didn't even give it. He just, boom, and it went out of bounds. So that told me right then and there, he felt that he had to put it all on his back one more time. And that's a lot of weight to carry. I don't give a damn how big you think your shoulders are. At some point, it's tiring. Now, he may come back in game 6 and put it on the shoulders, which I believe he will at Staples. I believe he will.
I'm telling you, it is definitely now all of a sudden becoming that the reality of him being out in the first round changes everything, obviously in the West, but I also think for the East, for the Nets. I mean, if that's a team that you won't have to face in the finals,
Does it?
so much changes.
Would it change your perception of LeBron James?
No.
Him going out in the first round?
No.
Not at all.
I got so tired of them saying,
I'm with you, too.
LeBron James has never lost 14 straight in the first round. I'm like, okay, so what? He might lose
I really
this
enjoy
one.
your announcer voice.
Because that's what I don't even remember what it was, but I just heard it, and it was rare. It was making me very angry at the television set.